That was my fault. My fault.
Yep, it's working. I'm so sorry, Mark. I got loose and it picked up the right front.
All good, bro.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For anybody that was wondering why 75 is slow down pit road, like we didn't have speed limits, we were testing for race control.
Well, you know, George, you can't park there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is MC Motorsports broadcasting live from North Wilkesboro, presenting the Worldwide Racing League Truck Series. Wrapping up the final 30 seconds of practice. Mark Cofield went with the fastest time. Looks like we have about 21 drivers with lap times down here tonight. So we got a decent sized field for some old-fashioned short track racing. Alongside me is Michael Matta, as always. And what we've seen so far in practice is a extremely slick racetrack. It's gotten colder as practice has gone on, but it seems like it's just going to be slick on exit specifically. The entrance is still a little tricky for these guys.
Yeah, it looks like from the middle of the corner to the exit, it's going to be real tough. Nobody's really holding on. As you can see right there, Will Moore got loose. That's been happening all practice. Not many people ran long runs. Everybody's just trying to figure out the truck with the track.
So you see it get brighter as we make the transition into qualifying / make track temps a little interesting. So it looks like Jade Feathers is going to be the first truck to pull out, followed by Ryan O'Toole and Keith Ayers. And on the outlap, down into 3 and 4, Jade Feathers goes like around. And that tells us right there just how hot the track has probably gotten. Flip back to Ryan O'Toole, off of 2 on the first lap, and goes around.
So I'm thinking if I was watching qualifying right now, I would just put a lap down, just anything. Doesn't have to be great, just get a lap in at this point.
And that looks to be what Keith Ayers and Jonathan Cofield have done so far. They both got a lap down. They're both on lap 2. They're in the exact same spot on track at this point. So we switch back and forth. And there goes Jonathan getting loose. Only 1 lap for him. Keith Ayers comes across the line.
Matt McDonald up to the top. Ayers, love him.
Keith Ayers going to shave about a 10th off of his first lap to take P2. See Matt McDonald completing lap 2 here.
Charles Irwin up to second.
McDonald takes P2. Tune back in with Charles Irwin. Zach Panzarella with an identical lap to Jonathan Cofield. So we see Irwin there, complete lap 2, no change.
He's only 8 thousandths off of pole there.
Panzarella off of 4 and sideways. Not going to get any time on that first lap. And here comes Mark again. Dead almost identical to Panzarella and Jonathan Cofield.
He was only 1,000th quicker than Zach.
That is the tightest race for pole we have seen so far.
Something I did see in practice was Mark was quicker than Jonathan this time around.
Looks like we got some drivers using this qualifying time for some extra practice laps.
And it looks like they all kind of need it. Track is not agreeing with anybody right now.
Zapata lap 1 put down a P5 lap time. Looks like entered too low into turn 1 and just brushed that wall. Ruined lap 2. Brandon Alessi.
It's the wall coming.
Unsure what happened there, but hits the wall. Yeah, coming to the line.
And I think that's just going to invalidate both of his laps. It might be close. We might have just done the first one, so we might be able to get at least a time down.
If this is a lap 2, it'll be a slow lap 2. Yeah, it was over a second and a half slower than, I believe that's Austin Mioto. Not quite sure how to say that one yet. New driver this week, along with Zach Panzarella, making their WRL debuts.
Reginald Harris is pulling out on track. Yeah.
Great minds think alike with that one. Seeing that 113 get out for some laps.
That bright green yellow truck, it's always so noticeable every week. It has some good speed about mid-pack, but it's found the way up to the front a couple times.
high off of 4. Jumps up to P12.
And something you can do here, you can run that middle of the top line. It does have some speed in it.
The way Harris running the track, it looks like it keeps the truck from getting as loose, running higher through the track, and it might be a little easier on the throttle. Looks like he's keeping that truck facing the right direction a little easier than anyone wrapping the bottom.
It will feel better, but you tend to wear a little bit more tire. I mean, it depends. If you can hold it down there bottom nice and smooth, you'll save more tire, but maybe if you can run up top and not get loose like everyone else is, it might be better for tires this time around.
So we see Camarada there. He jumped up to P12 with his first lap, and then was loose off of 2 on his second.
Kevin Stanley out on track coming to his first lap.
Some of these later qualifying drivers might be waiting and hoping the track cools down a little bit. Just try
It
to
actually
take
got
every
hotter
advantage they
throughout
can.
this, so
Lap 1 here for Kevin Stanley could just be a setup for a lap 2. Gets a bank lap down.
not a bad lap.
P12. And is bailing on lap 2 unless lap 1 was invalidated, and that was lap 2.
Oh, that was his lap 2. I think he spent the first lap warming up his tires. I saw him swerving, but that's going to be it.
So 3 minutes 50 seconds on the clock for qualifying, unless we get an advancement of the session, which it looks like we do, and the track gets darker.
Yep. I did see the weather. It was supposed to be cloudy once the race starts. Track temp's a little bit down, not quite there. I think it's going to be fluctuating about 10 degrees throughout the whole race.
What do you say we get that familiar combination up in the booth real quick?
Let's do it.
For the 4th consecutive week now, Jonathan, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, buddy, I got you. How you doing?
We're doing all right up here. Top 3 of you guys were separated by a piece of leg hair. All 3 of you ran almost identical times. Yours just happened to be that little bit quicker. Here, right there, on the inside, right next to you got a Cofield front row here.
Yeah, looking pretty good. Hopefully he can stay out of trouble and finish on the podium.
Looks like we got a solid group of times up there near the top. Some fast guys. Some of the normal ones making an appearance up there. Zapata's in P5. The new face of Panzarella is qualified P3 directly behind you. Looks like he's got some speed there. Track seems slick. You think you can keep the tires under it, or is it going to take a lot of fighting that?
No, it's pretty slick, but yeah, definitely big important thing is keeping the rear tires under it. Tried to go for a little better qualifying lap, but going into 3 on the second lap, I spun and put it in the wall. So surprised it held up. I know a couple guys out here was running pretty quick, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Try to take care of the truck.
That sounds like a fantastic plan. We got 150 laps ahead of you. We'll see if we're talking to you at the end.
See you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Good luck out there. And that was our pole sitter, Jonathan Cofield, driving that number 58 Cofield machine.
So something we've seen in this league with the short tracks, they can be a little messy. I don't think it's going to help the track slick. This racetrack tends to put on track position races unless you get a long run. This track you can't really pass too early on without really getting into each other, but on a long run you can really manage your tires. If you do it better than someone else, you'll be able to pass them really easy. So if these guys show some patience and let the race come to them, I think you're going to want to wait to make those passes later on than earlier, if we can get going green.
As this is a extremely shorter track than we've seen the last couple weeks, we're going to go second pace lap, but these drivers get bunched up before the initial start.
Careful on cold tires, guys. Good luck, everybody.
Green, green, green.
His car pulls off, the green flag's out. The front two get a huge jump. They're side by side in turn one.
Gofield's taking charge at the front. They do sit in a voice chat together. We see Matt McDonald and Zach Panzarella side by side for third.
Ooh, we got the 79 in the wall. Brandon Resler. He's going to keep it rolling, but he got into the wall hard. This truck looks alright for now. Minor damage.
Still at the front of the field, both Cofields, followed by Zach Panzarella, Matt McDonald, and Nicholas Lamb, rounding out that top five.
And these front guys are really not really racing too much. See Lamb go down to the bottom a little bit. Nothing going. Oh, the 8th round.
Camarada collected. Reginald Harris runs into it.
Oh, and Resler can't slow down. And I don't know if that was a synchronized spin or if the 8 got collected.
Watch from behind the Uta Wilmore here off of 2, down into 3 and 4 where we see the incident. And it just goes around and collects Camarada. 113 gets involved.
And Resler comes in a little late. Looked like they were
Up with Resler there.
they were double file and he didn't really have anywhere to go.
Just kind of roll on the top last minute. Looks like he avoided contact with anybody there.
So we're not seeing any pit stops. These guys can go about 90 laps on fuel, so they got a big window to actually make some strategy happen. Like I said, if we get the cautions, this will definitely be a track position race, so nobody wants to pit until they know they can definitely make it at about lap 60. I think that's when we'll see a lot of guys try and come in, maybe a little earlier if they think we'll get some cautions. So you can definitely flip the field if you pit just a little bit earlier and then everybody has to come down after.
And if I'm in somewhere near the back with these early yellows, I'm almost going to stop. If I'm still in the back, every single time I'm in the back, I'm going to come fill up.
Yeah, because you can definitely gain positions just by putting less fuel in it later on.
Anthony Camarada and Wrestler both went a lap down under that yellow there. Lights are off on the pace car. We're double file. We're getting a restart this time by.
Green, green, green.
Green flag through the restart zone.
Wheel
Jonathan
spin.
Cofield, mega wheel spin. Really slows up the 12 of Panzarella.
And that's something that's just going to get worse and worse as these guys go on longer and longer runs and don't take tires after a green flag run.
Got Nicholas Lamb working the outside, trying to get around Panzarella.
Ooh, got loose. He gets
off of 4.
good save by him there. Could have been real bad.
Got kind of a big bunch following P3.
Oh, Zapata gets loose.
Keeps the truck straight and on the bottom down there in front of Matt McDonald.
And these guys are wheeling it right now.
We're still looking at this group here. A Height Racing.
They're all being real respectful too. You can see there a lot of.
Down into the wall, Mark Cofield, loose off floor.
Ooh, he comes up the track. Oh,
Scary
he's still going.
rejoin there. Has no right front fender, it looks like. Unless it popped itself back on. There's a lot of damage on the right front of that truck.
Looks like the left front is gone on that truck.
Yep, that left front fender is.
And he's really
gone.
slow. He's in the way.
We see
Ooh,
Jade Feathers.
Jade Feathers
going
gets around. Oh, up and into
collecting
Matt McDonald. Caution's out. And wasn't he in front of Cofield there? He just self-spin?
Yeah, that one looked
Yeah, he
like
was
a
right
little
in
bit
front
of
of that group.
self-spin. Rear end brushes the wall in on entry, and then it just snaps up. Go take a look back at Cofield. See if we can find where Cofield went off track. Back here. So P2 loose off of turn 2.
And just gets loose.
Just a hit that didn't seem all that hard watching it right there, but it did a lot of damage to that truck. Second caution is in the air. We have 14 laps complete.
Something to note, I don't know if iRacing actually has the physics for this, but that is a steel barrier on the bottom. Something to think about. It's not the safer barrier we're used to.
The wrestler is going to be our lucky dog, getting his lap back there. That leaves Camarada one lap down. Looks like Matt McDonald sustained damage in that one, and Wilmore as well from the earlier wreck or down pit road. So Camarada, McDonald both going to be a lap down. Wilmore might be 1 or 2 down.
And someone I'm seeing making their way through the field early is Tanner Coster. We're talking about him every single week. Up 9 positions in P6.
Yeah, that 77 has consistent speed week in and week out. Sometimes the qualifying speed might not be there, but as the race progresses, he works his way up towards the front for the end of the end
Remember,
laps.
he saved fuel at Martinsville. Kept that lead. Nobody was able to get by him on those restarts. He knows how to play that track position game. Lance Ross and looks like Will Moore's still on pit road, so he's going to be multiple laps down and might just be done for the night. No, he's pulling off pit road now, so.
Pace car is off into the restart zone. Jonathan Cofield with a huge launch. Nicholas Lamb going to get underneath Zach Panzarella. Back for P2. Javier Zapata looking as well. Doesn't get there. You see Kevin Stanley Jr. on the inside of Tanner Coster. Charles Irwin looking to the high side of Stanley here.
Yeah, and for the first time, we're really seeing Jonathan Cofield get a huge gap out front. Usually he's stayed pretty close, but he's really gapping him right now. Ooh, the 7 gets loose. He's in the inside wall. I think he just tapped it.
Someone's going on Brandon Alessi. He lost a couple spots. Probably got loose off the floor as well. Lost 2 or 3 right there down that straightaway. Move back to the leader. The 1.1 second lead over Nicholas Lamb. Zach Panzarella still sitting where he started, P3.
Everybody's pretty much single filing out. I think these guys just want to log some laps. Kind of, like I was saying before, let the truck come to them later in a run. You have Brandon Ressler around, but he gets rolling again. Didn't bring out a caution.
Green flag stays out.
And Coster's on the move. He's up to the back bumper of Zapata now.
We got Panzarella working on Nicholas Lamb for P2. Running a little bit lower line than Nicholas is, getting the run in the corner.
And it's so tough to pass here. You just gotta wait for someone to make a mistake in front of you. As you see Lamb drift up a little bit, it's gonna give the bottom to Panzarella.
Panzarella is really running the track the exact way that I would want to. Sticking to the bottom, but not all the way down there. And he's just making it work. Getting inside Nicholas Lamb. And working on getting that P2.
He's not the only one on the move. We see Mark Cofield up 4 or 5 spots from the restart after being in that wreck.
Little tap in the rear there from the 7 of Irwin. For the most part, again, if it's single file, a couple of people working on positions.
I wonder if he took tires or if he's just doing that on straight pace. He's making it look easy right now. You see Tanner still working on the back of Zapata. McCofield storming through the field.
He wants to get back to P2. Panzarella did complete the pass for second. Getting past Nicholas Lamb, currently 3.2 back on Jonathan.
Lamb is starting to back up.
Sleeping
Oh,
Beauty has
Sleeping
crashed.
Beauty goes around. He's gonna pull down in front of him. Oh. That was a close one. He wrecked and then pulled right down in the middle of the track when the guys were still coming. Oh, man.
And loose on entry of 3. Just trying to save it. Snaps up the track. And you see her rolling down the track. Almost collects Camarada again. Jade Feathers. A couple of the trucks squeaking by there. And is that a tow for Sleeping Beauty?
I think, yeah. It was a tow. I think he
That
blew
was a
the
tow.
engine. So he is definitely going to be multiple laps down.
Going to the third caution of the night. 30 laps in the books. One thing we did not visit earlier on was the points heading into tonight. We'll bring that up right now. Tanner Coster still leads in the playoff points and regular season points. Nicholas Lamb, Jonathan Cofield, Javier Zapata, Tyler Johnson. Still the only drivers locked in with a win. We're still watching Jonathan Cofield. Has to make every race from here to the playoffs to be eligible. Every other driver has only missed about 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most. So they're all still good at the moment. Then we see the plus and minus to the cut line as well.
Far nobody yet. Oh, Sleeping Beauty. No, that's not Sleeping Beauty. A couple guys in the back are coming in.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty's down there from the toe. Matt McDonald, Ryan O'Toole, Jade Feathers. Looks like all of them are coming down. Some of the back of the pack guys, like I said, might want to come down and get some fuel. Not sure if it's tire time yet, but we do see Jade Feathers right side of the truck go up. We got tires going on that truck.
Yeah, that
Matt
might not be a
McDonald
bad
up
call.
ahead did not take any tires. That's a full fuel stop only for the 11.
Still about 30 laps from their window to make it the full length, so just trying something different. I mean, tires might make a little bit of a difference here. I mean, if what is it? Cofield took tires. They were definitely working for him. Mark Cofield there.
He is lined up on the outside P8. I'll try to a couple rows back there. Jonathan Cofield still leading. Zach Panzarella second place on the outside. Nicholas Lamb P3. Javier Zapata is P4. Almost an identical restart to last time.
Green, green, green.
As again, the
Panzarella
jump goes to
gets-
Jonathan.
Holding with him. Last time we saw Cofield get a big jump. See if he can pull away like last time.
Go back by Tanner Coster, Kevin Stanley, they're a little bit more side by side back here. Keith Ayers, as well as Mark Cofield.
Coster's gonna get
Keith
around.
Ayers gets into Mark Cofield a
Oh.
little bit. Cofield goes around.
No
Lots of
caution
checking
yet.
up trucks, no yellow flag for that one. Mark Cofield extremely slow, is going to get passed by almost everybody at the back.
And everybody's still rolling.
Didn't look like too much of a damage wreck there, more like a just slight tap and slide for the 97.
That's gonna put a big gap from 7th place on back.
There's Keith Ayers
Almost
here
a whole
rolling
corner
1 and
back.
2. Back up front, 9-10 lead for Jonathan Cofield over Zach Panzarella. Nicholas Lamb's got Tanner Coster in the mirror, Javier Zapata just behind that. And Kevin Stanley has a mirror full of Charles Irwin. We got smoke on the backstretch. Brandon Ressler was off track, then back on track. He has now entered the pits. Harris and Jade Feathers battling here, trying to get P11.
And Jade Feathers was one of those people who took tires, right?
Yeah, so 75 did put tires on it on that last pit stop.
Looks like they're paying off a little bit. I don't think the old tires have fallen off quite enough for him to make it all the way back up to the front, but he's gonna make up something.
Check back into the second and a half lead for Jonathan Cofield. Zach Panzarella up 1 spot from his P3 start. Tanner Coster up 11. Apparently the biggest mover in P4. Second biggest mover is that Austin Mioto.
New this week.
Pronunciation pending. 16 is up 10 spots into P10. Here comes Jade Feathers with those tires just rolling on by on the inside.
An update we do have.
Well.
Do have Ressler down pit road. Not sure what for, but he's still down on pit road.
Yes, he had gone off track on lap 36. It looked like the tire tracks led to the inside wall. He went down pit road, and after a 1.5-minute stop, he has left the pits.
And everybody's just kind of minding their business right now. I keep saying that and a caution will come out, but I think that little wreck that spaced out the field did a really nice job at getting everybody a little bit of space. We got first, second, third, kind of in their own little area alone, and then 4th and 5th are close, and 6th, 7th, 8th, and then behind that's another big gap. I think Mark Cofield got in the wall. Seems alright.
I think that might have been Camarada. Looks like he was a little high through 3 and 4 that last time. Anthony Camarada up 2 spots into P11.
Got a battle for 4th going on with Nicholas Lamb and Charles Irwin. It's like Lamb doesn't want to give it up.
For the most part, the bottom side is going to prevail in almost every fight, as long as the tires aren't too far separated. It sounds like Ryan O'Toole has crashed.
Yeah, I heard an engine. I thought I did. Yeah, in the
Yes, I
backstretch right
heard
there.
an engine as well. Truck down in the grass.
You're gonna have to tow. No, the yellow's out, so he'll have to tow, but too little, too late as the caution flag flies.
He's side by side, right there with the looks like to be the 91.
It looks like he's already sideways.
Back it up just a little bit. Just trying to keep it off the truck to the right. Head on, blows the motor. And he
Oh,
had
I
to
think
jump to the pit.
we got a bunch of guys coming down from pit road for fuel as we're 10 laps away from the window, but with cautions, this is it. This is the window.
Let's see who comes off first. Jonathan Cofield's got the cones right in front of his pit box.
You know, something
Almost
that
no
could
way
be
to beat him
happening.
out. Unless
Someone
you're the
didn't take tires.
96. There's our pit exit right there. Battles coming off.
Jade Feathers, Mark Cofield, Kyle Lawver, and Jeffrey Smith all stayed out. We're going to have a few cars unless they come around the
Jeffrey
next
Smith
time.
did not stay out. He's coming in now for a second pit stop. He was the first one off pit road.
He was the first one off, that's right.
Probably did not check tires or something. Might be coming back down for that set of tires. We'll watch here, see if the truck goes up. Yep. Missed, did not get the set of tires on it that first
Yeah, I
time.
noticed
That's why he came out so quick.
He was really quick there. Thought that could have been a call, but
So what it looks like is we saw Jude Feathers take those tires. I believe Mark Cofield probably put tires on it after his wreck as well. So they're going to recycle into 1 and 2 right here.
and then there's Kyle Lawver.
Kyle Lawver, unsure of the strategy out of that 91. He's up 16 spots. He has not been down pit road. That I'm seeing a pit counter of 0 for the 91. So original tires. And I would imagine is about to get eaten alive by everybody else with tires from P5 on back.
Yeah, what I'm worried about is if we get another couple cautions, nobody's going to pit again. We saw that tires didn't really matter, especially if a lot of people stay out. As the pace car pulls in.
Green, green, green.
Both tires up front still get it. No, not that good of a jump. The whole field sticks
spun
right
him.
with. 3 wide back there as the 91 gets split by Panzarella and Coster. As we see father-son duo, old and new tires, first and second. As Jonathan has no problem getting by. Here comes Tanner Coster for P2 as well.
Oh, we've got some contact. Zapata into the wall.
Yellow, yellow.
Just coming out of 3 wide. That's going to bring out a caution.
Jonathan Cofield, the leader over Tanner Coster, 5th caution in the air. So we got Javier Zapata and others involved.
They were just 3 wide, and Zapata tried to clear himself up, I think. Just wasn't.
91 and 24 involved in a separate incident going on next to that.
That sends him right down into Brandon Alessi.
Back that one up a little bit. So you got the wreck up ahead. Then you see the 96 just lock up trying to not run into it and ends up sliding down again into Alessi.
Yeah, and those wrecks that happen against the wall, it's so hard to know where those cars are going to go. You don't know if you should speed up or slow down, especially when you got cars behind you.
Reginald Harris looks to be the lucky dog this time. And what we do see here, and I didn't get time to mention it before the green flag came out, but Tanner Coster did get in front of Jonathan Cofield and Zach Panzarella through the pits. But after the restart, Jonathan got out in front, and Zach is back there in P4. Those older tires of Mark Cofield are going to be on his inside, so he should get clear of him and be able to attack for P2.
Is Kyle Lawver still not pit? Yeah, he still hasn't pit.
Yeah, still no pit stops for the 91, even though he did get involved in that incident right there.
These guys, if this goes green, these guys, I don't think they can make it, but I don't see us going the whole way. So I think Lawver might be in trouble. He's going to have to pit and cycle to the back. The best case scenario for him is we run about, I don't know, I don't even think there is. Even if we run laps and they take tires, everybody's going to do it, and he'll just be at the back again. But we'll see. Maybe something will happen. Shake out his way.
Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get another Jonathan Cofield controlled restart here.
And we see the heavy hitters back up front. Same guys every week now.
And those old tires are second and third on the inside. Jonathan Cofield does get a
Ooh,
big jump
spins him.
there. Mark with the spin of the tires going to hold up the inside line. Like I said, Panzarella with newer tires than Mark gets the run off of 2 and is now on the attack of Coster. Side by side is Cofield and Charles Irwin. Nicholas Lamb, Jake Feathers also on the tires.
Looks like Mark is struggling a little bit.
It's Panzarella to the inside of Coster here for P2. Again, rolling that bottom. The preferred line at the 12 so far all night.
It's not clear yet. Coster's got that outside rolling right now. He's gonna have a good run off the corner. He's gonna be side by side still. Haven't seen anybody be able to make it. It seems like you can't run top 3 and 4. Looks like it works in 1 and 2, but just 3 and 4, something about it. It just doesn't stick the same way.
Most of the field's single file again. Lawver on the oldest tires on track looks to be holding up a couple of drivers back there. The lap car Will Moore. Got P14. Also Mioto. Javier Zapata has found himself P16. Back up towards the front, Charles Irwin starting to work on Tanner Coster.
Something I'm wondering, I think Jonathan Cofield's starting to gap Zach here. Even though Zach got around Coster, I think Jonathan Cofield's just that much quicker. Be interesting to see if he's holding on for a long run or if he's just pushing, knowing that we've only had short run. I think this is the most spread out we've seen it throughout the field as a whole. So we might be able to get a green flag run in here. Place where tire wear comes into play on the long run. Ooh, 12th place is slow, 13th.
It's Jake Feathers and Kyle Lawver on the older tires.
Ooh, the 5 gets around Stanley, collects airs. I think that was airs. And another single car spin.
Watch here from the view of the 5. Loose off
quite
the
tell who he
2, kind
collected.
of locked it up. That's Keith Ayers.
Yeah, it's airs.
Running in there late. Really had
Yeah.
nowhere to go.
If you watch it from his view, he came right out of the corner. He's just right there on corner exit, just waiting for him. Absolutely nothing he could do.
You see him, he spun high, he chooses to go low at the exact moment that the 5 lifts off the brakes and rolls down.
And right there at that part of the corner, the truck is so light in the rear. If you get on the brakes, it's probably going to spin. If you get in the gas to try and turn it more, it's going to spin. It's Just a bad spot for Ayers there.
Kyle Lawver making his first pit stop. Jade Feathers, Kevin Stanley Jr. also down. So the oldest tires are coming down, as well as the one involved in the wreck.
Yeah, so with Lawver pitting later, he's going to cycle out to 15th. But if we keep getting cautions like this, nobody in the front is going to pit.
That does bring Zach Panzarella back into the conversation for the fight for the lead. They'll start side by side for like the third time. These two have been side by side, and Jonathan just gets that great launch every time.
Yeah, nobody's been able to keep up with his launches. He's doing such a great job. I think he spun the tires once, and he still kept the lead. Don't count anyone out behind him. Charles Irwin's having a great night tonight up front. He's got a lot of speed. So does Coster.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out, and there's that excellent run from Jonathan again. It's Coster side by side with Panzarella.
See, we say that 3 and 4 is not great for passing.
Coster gets cleared for P2. Irwin and Nicholas Lamb. Nose to tail right there. Further back in the field, got Keith Ayers trying to make moves back past some drivers. Jake Feathers also on the brake tires. Mark Cofield sitting P6. You see Jeffrey Smith up into the wall there through forward.
Yeah, Reginald Harris trying to defend against Ayers on the top. He's making it work nicely, though. He got a little bit too high there. The 5 gets around again. He gets it on the pit road. He brings it on track.
Back on track and
Still
slow,
rolling.
but still
Green
rolling.
is still out. Ooh, when he turned back on track there, I really thought he was going to bring out the yellow.
Back to the front, we got Charles Irwin making a pass attempt on Nicholas Lamb, trying to get P4.
Did we just hit halfway?
And that is
Am I
the
able to do
halfway
math?
point. I believe you're correct. 70 laps should be 140 as half. So 75. So we're a little past half here by about a lap or two.
Alright, I'm not going to say anything this time. I'm going to keep quiet. Seems like Jonathan Cofield is catching the lap traffic a little quicker than before. It's still a few laps away, but it's something to think about. Maybe another 5-10 laps. And Reginald Harris is really hanging on. He's having a tough time on the top.
Yeah, switching
Past
positions.
few laps, he's just dropping through the field.
Just the last 2 or 3 laps, we've seen there was a pass for P12 between Jake Feathers and Reginald Harris, just swapping for a couple laps, where we see that 113 continue to fall, now back in P14. Check in with our late run guy, Will Moore. 3 laps down currently. Gonna take
Yeah,
some
him having
lucky
to take the
dogs
tow.
and yellow flags to get back on the lead lap and try and make that late surge that we always see. Slow truck
We
on the
got Johnson
bottom there.
Cofield catching lap traffic here.
That is the driver we saw almost bring out a yellow. Kevin Stanley getting past to fall.
Looks like he's going to let him
1
by.
lap down.
Keith Ayers on those new tires after his wreck. He's making some good ground up to 9th. Looks like... Was there a pass for second? Or did Coster always have that?
Coster has had second since the restart, basically.
Restart, okay.
Yeah, Coster was P3, Panzarella was P2. He ended up getting P2 on the inside, and they've been running like that. Slow truck on the inside there, 79. Brandon Russell.
Yeah, it was scary. Scary for the
Right
leader
in front of
happened
the
right in
leader.
front of him. Yeah.
Seeing on my notes, Kyle Lawver went off track, came back on, and then pitted. So I assume
Looks
that's
like-
a loose off of turn
Looks
2.
like he's still slow. I think he has a problem. I think Lawver has some kind of damage. He's really slow. Might have gotten pace back. I don't know what happened, but he was way off pace. Almost a second off. We've got the leader catching up to these guys.
Sounds Gofield 2 seconds ahead on Tanner Coster. Approaching Sleeping Beauty and Kyle Lawver. No contest from the driver of the 87.
Looks like the 91's back up to speed here. A good battle for 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They've found each other. We're spaced out, but they've really grouped back up. I wonder if some guys saving tires catching back up. What I was saying, you're gonna make your passes on the long run. We're starting to see it with this group forming back up.
You'll see the ones that bring their stuff too much falling back towards the guys that we're saving. And that's when you'll see them passes start to happen. When the saved tires start having more life than everyone's pushing too hard.
And that'll really help the guys who pit a little bit later and took later tires, like Keith Ayers. I think he's one of those guys. Someone like Jade Feathers. 2 guys who took their tires real late after being in some wrecks.
You see this group here? That is 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yellow flag is out.
As the yellow flag's out, Ryan O'Toole appeared to have an incident and jumped to
Oh,
the
looks like
pits.
Kevin Stanley has more damage?
Out what happened with Ryan O'Toole.
Well, maybe not.
Loose. Down into the
Ooh,
inside
hits the
wall.
wall hard.
Hard. Jumps
Oh.
the track. Kevin Stanley appears to be the one that happens. It said yellow flag, and then there was Stanley. So O'Toole's incident not a part of the yellow. He had jumped to the pits, and then this happened immediately after.
No, he saved it.
Saved it, no contact. Yellow did fly for that one, though.
He's just getting good. We got the leaders coming down for tires. I didn't see this happening. We got someone staying out. Keith Ayers, who just took tires.
Keith Ayers pit lap.
And
down
Jade
on-
Feathers, those two guys.
Keith and Jade both down on lap 67.
Well, they're not new
So
anymore.
it's been about
but
30 laps for these guys. Mostly green flag. Jonathan, Tanner Coster, Panzarella, Charles Irwin. First one's off pit road, followed by Nicholas Lamb, Jeffrey Smith. There's Mark Cofield coming out.
Camerata.
Camarada.
Yeah.
And some of the lap down cars. Javier Zapata's in there. Reginald Harris. We got Matt McDonald. And Mioto.
Now this is going to be an interesting restart. We're going to have two cars on the front row with older tires compared to these guys. I think they'll be able to hold on for a lap or two before those guys get heat in their tires. But after that, it's going to be tough. We haven't really seen what 30 lap old tires do, especially under green flag. We've seen like 60 laps on tires, but those were with a lot of cautions. This was definitely our longest run of the day.
Now, if anybody has anything at the end of this race for Jonathan Cofield, it is either Tanner Coster or Zach Panzarella. But with them two battling each other on these restarts, it allows Jonathan to get out to a second and a half, 2-second lead. And then by then, there's just no catching him because they've done fought each other too hard and didn't have the chance to save tires.
Yeah, and I don't want to forget Charles Irwin. He's been up there too. If anything happens to those front guys, he'll be right there to pounce. He has been all day. I mean, any of these top six, including Lamb, he's been there too.
Green flag, green flag.
Pace car's off. Keith Ayers spins the tires. Jake Feather's
Spins 'em.
going to get the lead. Super slow on the inside for the 17.
He's 3 wide. A little bit of contact, but they keep going. Oh, more contact.
Tanner Coster out
Everything's
front.
going.
Jonathan Cofield going around.
Yeah, Jade Feathers, he's in the way right now.
Slight door tap of Panzarella, who's going to be fighting for P4. Jeffrey Smith way on the outside.
Just like I said, that 7, he was right there to pounce when Zach slipped up a little bit, being stuck behind a car. He's right there now. Oh, we got a car around. Ooh, and the 8 hard in the wall.
City Beauty and
Will Moore gets tagged. Got into the wall hard. Ooh, he's going to brake check him.
The 8 showing frustrations.
I don't really think that's much on Jade Feathers. I think he was holding the brakes. I could be wrong, but
Checking with Sleeping Beauty here. He's on the outside and gets loose. And then just rolls down the track and collects the 8. And that's where the frustrations are going to be shown. So he pulls down in front. Little brake check
and Will
there.
Moore's having a tough day today, involved in a lot of the wrecks, and I don't think many of them been his fault. I think he had maybe one single cell spin, but
I can understand the frustrations out of Will. You watch the tires on 87 here. Just continue to roll. Not once do they lock up. If you're sideways like that, with that kind of traffic trying to come by, you just got to slam the brakes and hope you don't go anywhere.
yeah, and most people expect you to lock them down, and then they'll make the move to get away from you, but it seemed like he was trying to get off the track, but really want to hold the brakes there. We've got
103 laps in the books. 8th caution flag.
Nope.
Tanner Coster has cycled out in front of Jonathan Cofield now. Like I said, all it takes is one of those drivers to get in front of Jonathan, and that could be just enough to try and hold him off.
Yeah, we saw it at Martinsville. Coster got the lead, and he just held on to it for the rest of the race. All these guys are on even tires.
And a lot of what we've seen happen to the P2 driver on these restarts is P3 will get the launch with the leader, and then that just starts a battle for P2 as the leader tries to pull away. Happened to Panzarella with Nicholas Lamb being P3. A couple restarts. This time, Panzarella's P4. You got Jeffrey Smith, Nicholas Lamb in the row behind that. Jade Feathers, Anthony Camarada.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. Coster gets the jump. Jonathan right into it.
This is one of the first times we've seen him second place on a restart. We'll see if Coster can get a gap, but he's right on his bumper. He's there. He's gonna get him.
They're still side by side down the front straight into 1 and 2.
Coster's gonna have to do something different. We've seen that top is not great.
A little bit loose there on exit for Coster.
That was something different, but not exactly what he needed.
Wrong kind of difference. Jonathan's going to resume the lead. Another flag is
Yellow's
out.
out.
Matt McDonald, Jade
Big
Feathers.
stack up on the
Big
front.
stack up.
That's 12th on back was involved.
Austin Mioto involved. Been clean so far. Matt McDonald, first one appearing on the crash counter. Check in with the 11. Right in the bottom. You see Jade Feathers go around. Nowhere to go for Matt McDonald.
Sends him right up.
There's Mioto, Kevin Stanley, everyone else slowing up.
Some big damage from Mioto there. I wonder if he had any engine damage.
Front end of that American flag bald eagle, number 16. Was
He's
running
still driving
such a
around,
clean
but
race.
he's gonna pull it down the pit road. Probably use his fast repair if he still has it.
Watch the rear chase cam here, see if that truck fixes itself.
No. Oh, he's not in his
Not
box.
quite in the box. Missed it by a good couple stalls.
Couple stalls.
Still,
He's still
trying to get
in
in
it.
here.
There it is.
Goes. Right back into
And,
place.
That's gonna put.
That's gonna
Does
cost a
Walker
lap.
make it through? Yeah.
That cost Mioto a lap. Gonna be 1 lap down.
That's gonna bring Lawver on the lead lap. Lucky dog. The good thing for Austin, he's the only car 1 lap down.
He's not gonna be Jade
Oh,
Feathers.
not anymore.
Caught as well. They got caught by the closed pit exit. It's gonna put Feathers, Mioto both a lap down, fighting for Lucky Dog, which worsens Will Moore's situation. He continues to be 3 laps down. He's trying to keep a clean truck and get back around towards the lead lap.
There's
But
so many
it's just
cautions.
so difficult.
There's no chance for a wave around because everybody's on different strategies. Everybody's pitting different times. With all these cautions, you're not going to get the whole field coming down at once. And being 3 laps down, I think it's safe to say he's going to be stuck there. But anything can happen. We'll need at least 3 more cautions for him to get at least a lap back without anybody else going a lap down.
Pace car is off. Restart controlled by
Ooh,
Jonathan
Coster spun his
Cofield.
tires a little bit.
So stack up the outside a little bit.
That's going to get the 7 to his inside. Coster's clear of him, though.
Way towards the outside for the 96. Going to be almost 3 wide off the corner. Spencer was trying to wrap the bottom again, trying to get that track position back.
We see it time and time again. Jonathan Cofield is pulled away.
Already up to a second lead over Tanner Coster.
79's on the wall in the back. He keeps it rolling, though. That's Resler. Panzarella takes a peek on the inside, but nothing going there. I'm gonna wisely back off a little bit. Got Mark Cofield going to the inside of Lamb. He's not afraid to send it in there.
Mark still trying to fight back from that incident earlier where he had to use the fast repair to get the truck fixed. Currently sitting P7, working on P6.
Ooh,
Camarada loose down to the grass.
real
Keeps
loose.
it
It's a good
straight.
save.
Reginald Harris in the wall through 3 and 4. Left guard Kevin Stanley and Brandon Alessi. No, that's not Brandon Alessi. It's the 40 of. It is Brandon Alessi. Trying to get by that incident. Jade Feathers.
Ooh, Mark Cofield gets in the grass. He's gonna slide up. Just misses the 96's bumper. He got loose on corner entry and hit the grass. And did a great job of saving the car and not taking out Jeffrey Smith there.
I'm seeing a jump to the pits for Matt McDonald on lap 117.
I think he was already a few laps down. We got
Jonathan's out to a 2.5 lead, approaching some lap traffic. That's 2, 3, and 4. Still single file.
like Resler's got a lot of damage right in front of the leader. Kind of limping it around. Jonathan Cofield's gonna wrap around his bottom really easily.
Mark Cofield now into P6, working on P5 of Jeffrey Smith. Jeffrey Smith with an impressive run so far tonight, currently P5. Not involved in too many of the incidents that we've seen.
He's up 6 spots from where he started.
And you see Keith Ayers get into Nicholas Lamb back there. Slight wiggle from Lamb after that contact. They keep it straight.
I've been real impressed with Keith Ayers tonight. He's found his way to the back and then always driven back up through the field. Got a fast truck. If he could have just kept it clean a couple times, I think we'd had a really good chance at being up in that top 5.
Cofield making that move to the inside. Looking for P5 and the charge back to the front.
Looks like that bottom lane is just so dominant. I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the single file racing. I think that's why we also saw them get stacked back up late in a run, is because people are trying to find grip on the old tires, running a little bit higher, and then they start coming in.
Two-second lead for Jonathan Cofield and Tanner Coster. About 25 laps left in the race.
Oh, and Resler's going to be in the way in the front stretch. Going to be 3 wide.
Resler up into the wall, super slow on the high side.
And that's really going to hurt Keith Ayers. He got the short end of the stick there with Resler being right in the way on track and him being used as a pick.
Kyle Lawver in the inside wall in the backstretch. Green flag still out as the leaders are coming by, and there's the yellow flag.
I was just about to say this field is spread out a lot.
Just loose off of 2.
We have seen that so much tonight. Loose off of 2 is really where they've all happened. A couple off of 4, but it's mostly been right there in 2.
If I were any of those fans down on the inside, I'd be moving. It's only a matter of time before one of these trucks finds their way back there.
Oh, I'm staying there. I'm getting all the scrap metal coming off the trucks. We got the leaders coming in. It's split decision up here.
Back to the front.
Because we've got Jonathan Cofield and Charles Irwin staying out.
Panzarella, Mark Cofield, Tanner Coster, Nicholas Lamb, Jeffrey Smith, Camarada, Keith Ayers, Kevin Stanley, Alessi Harris, all down pit road. That's only 2 lead lap drivers that stayed out.
And that's about 30 lap difference. That's what we saw from the other guys. Did we have any cautions?
Tanner
We might have had
Coster,
one.
Zach Panzarella, Mark Cofield, Nicholas Lamb, Jeffrey Smith, Camarada, Keith Ayers, Kevin Stanley Jr., one of the lap down cars. There's the 40 of Alessi coming out as well.
That 30 lap difference is exactly what those guys had before that we saw drop back and spin tires on the restart. Except this time it is one of the best restarters we have in this league is Jonathan Cofield.
Something just happened to Cofield. Mark Cofield, that is. Under yellow here. It says he had an incident. Looks like trying to catch up or something. Going really slow. Maybe a penalty? Speeding, maybe? Have to let everybody by? And I just listed this as a crash.
Oh, maybe he must have tapped the wall or something.
Must have been a speeding penalty causing that. But I do see one more as well here under yellow. It's just listing some of these slower cars letting people by as crashes, it looks like.
Now
Not
this
seeing any contact.
No. Well,
Double file, lights out on the pace car. 20 to go when we take the green flag. And the top 5 to 6 are all the same as I've been expecting all night.
we did see right there. Cofield did spin his tires a little bit, but he does get that huge jump like he always does. But here comes Coster and Panzarella, right past the 7. They're coming quick. I think this is what these guys needed to actually beat Jonathan Cofield. They had nothing for him on even tires, but we see Coster has new, fresh tires, and he's right on his bumper. Much faster right now. If we got a spin in the back, airs around him, Brendan Alessi. Oh, right into the 113. Small contact, but once again, Keith Ayers in another accident.
Help.
Looks like they met in the middle.
Help from the 5, collects Alessi. Further damage for the 40. Reginald Harris comes in. Jade Feathers has to go off track to avoid it.
Now this is going to be an interesting restart because we're going to have Jonathan Cofield first. Tanner Coster on the outside with new tires. But then we'll have Zach Panzarella on the bottom. We have seen that third car is usually a little bit better when the leader gets a jump. But we haven't seen mixed match tires on the front row yet. I wonder if we'll see Coster hold really tight with Jonathan Cofield on the restart. Unless Jonathan Cofield comes in 4 tires, but I think he's kind of made his bed. I think he has to stay out. He's looking low. Staying out.
Appeared to be Keith Ayers, about the only driver to come down for that.
I think he had a little bit of damage. I don't know if any of the guys have tires left, but
So old tires of Jonathan Cofield with roughly 14 to go at green flag has new tires of Tanner Coster, Zach Panzarella, Nicholas Lamb right behind. Charles Irwin stayed P5 before the yellow came out on those old tires.
we saw them catching him with just 2 laps. I think he's going to need a couple cautions here to actually win this race or put most spectacular defense on. But I just think that Coster, Panzarella, Lamb, those guys, their tires are too good that they're just going to blow right by him if they get to his inside. I think he might have a chance if they get to his outside and he can hold on, but I think if they get to his inside at all, I think it's game over for Jonathan Cofield tonight.
They are doubled up. Panzarella on the bumper of Jonathan Cofield into the restart zone.
Into that inside, get a
12 there a little bit.
The 97's gonna spin the 71.
Camarada goes around off the nose of Cofield.
Man, the 97 just sent it into the corner. And then didn't let off after he saved it. All over his back bumper on corner entry.
They both saved it, and then a secondary tap sends them around. And that's a lockdown of the tires right there. Everybody got by clean.
So we're gonna have a repeat of this restart.
Top five,
See if
top
they learned
six,
anything.
The exact same as they were before. Jeffrey Smith continuing to impress tonight.
And Jonathan Cofield is loving every second of this. He wants as many laps under caution as he can. I think a green-white checkered, he's gonna win it, but he has to survive these last 10 laps. We saw Coster do it at Martinsville, the same exact thing. He was on old tires, and they just didn't have time because there were cautions. He just couldn't get that green flag run to let that jump from the restart fall back.
We're going to be down under 10 to go when we get this next green flag. Coster, Panzarella, Lamb trying to all fight for that lead. But first they have to get past Jonathan Cofield.
I'm impressed with Charles Irwin once again. I mean, he's on those old tires. He's not in clean air like Jonathan Cofield is. He's holding on. He's not bleeding spots like crazy. I think if we get that green flag run, he will. But he's doing a good job on these short runs. Just a lap or two to not fall off too much. We know those tires are hurting right now.
Lights are off on the pace car. Double file going green this time. Another Jonathan Cofield control to restart. We'll see if anybody like Coster or even Panzarella have him timed up yet.
Green flag, green flag.
He waited a little longer that time. He has been going at the beginning. He isn't pulling out like he has been. He's still there. Coster's right there. Like Lamb's gonna make a pass on Panzarella, at least try to on the outside.
You see Charles Irwin still hanging on just behind that.
Ooh, Lamb gets a
with
little
Jeffrey
loose.
Smith.
It's gonna give the spot to Panzarella. So we've
Fights
got
back
Coster
on the
all over the back
outside.
bumper.
And that's almost exactly what Zach Panzarella and Nicholas Lamb want to see. We got three
Ooh,
wide
three
deep
wide
in
in
the
the back.
field.
They keep it going. In. There it is. Coster's to the bottom. He's got it.
Jonathan brushes the wall, stays fight back on the outside.
Ooh, he runs him up a little bit.
Nicholas Lamb on the
And he's
bumper
clear.
of Panzarella. Coster clear of Jonathan.
Now this is huge for Coster with that gap. He's got almost the equivalent of a lap car in between him and Panzarella.
Yellow flag is out.
The yellow's out at Kevin Stanley again. Been a rough night for him.
Camarada just gets him a little sideways. I think netcode helps send him around entirely.
I think something might have happened before that. I hear him talking on the radio. I don't know if there was something before it. Right there. In the corner. With the car in front of him.
It's a little loose.
Great.
75.
Right here on corner exit. I don't know.
A light tap.
Full
goes
field.
around.
Comes down pit road for tires. I think he knows that he's in trouble. We only have, well, I say only, but there is still 13 cars on the lead lap. Reginald Harris is going to come back around, make it 14. So Cofield's going to be back in 14th place.
Top 4, Tanner Coster, Zach Panzarella, Nicholas Lamb, Jeffrey Smith. Charles Irwin sticks with P5 on those older tires. Jade Feathers sitting there in P6. Brandon Alessi up 14 into P7.
This is putting us into a green-white checkered 1 of 3. We see even tires back up front again, all the way back to 5th with Charles Irwin. I think he's the only one not on 21 lap old tires. He is on 53 lap old tires. We've seen Lamb try and use that outside. He can't quite make it work. He's been like one of the guys who's trying it all night, even though it's not really working. Probably been the best at it, and even then it's still not there.
Going green this time by for attempt 1 of 3 for overtime.
Green flag, green flag.
A great jump by Coster there. That if we get a green flag run to the end, I don't think anyone's going to catch that run unless he makes a mistake. That was huge. As Lamb jumps to the bottom, though.
Brandon Leshler crashed. He jumped to the pits. There's no yellow flag out.
The 96 runs high. He's going to lose another spot.
We get the white flag. 1 to go. Tanner Coster.
Lamb's not quite
effort.
there.
We'll
He gets loose. He's giving it all he's got. The 75 gets around in the back. Green flag stays out.
Checkered flag. Tanner Coster wins it. Nicholas Lamb, Zach Panzarella, your top 3. Jeffrey Smith up to P4.
Charles Irwin holding on for 5th place.
What a drive
after not taking tires. Cofield, he came in, and that's going to give him.
Look at him celebrate down there into 3. People checking up and driving into each other back there a little bit. 3rd time this season, victory lane for Tanner Coster.
And we were talking about maybe some, no repeat winners, but we have found the best drivers in this league, and they have found their way to the top. That was all made right on that restart. I mean, he got such a huge jump, they had no chance of getting to him unless he made a mistake. Same thing we saw at Martinsville, where if you get a big enough jump in a short run, you can't be caught. That was on par with the Jonathan Cofield restart there. Catches everybody napping.
Alright, first to the booth, we are going to get our 3rd place finisher, Zach Panzarella. See if we can get him here real quick. Zach, is Jonathan and Michael in the booth got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, what an impressive drive from you all night. Keeping it up there in the fight for P2 it looked like, as Jonathan kept running away. But there at the end, you and Coster were going at it. Nicholas Lamb got involved. And with Schofield, it's old tires. It finally let you guys try and duke it out for the win. You ended up coming home P3. Not the exact finish you wanted, but nonetheless a solid finish in your WRL debut.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for the broadcast. Thank you for inviting me to this league and letting me run with you guys mid-season. Very fortunate to be here. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm looking now, what was it, 13 cautions, so you prefer less, but it's North Wilkesboro, kind of what you expect. But yeah, I mean, you said it right there, man. I was racing for second place at best there. I didn't have anything for Jonathan, and honestly, I realized about halfway through the race I didn't have much for Tanner either. I figured a podium would be really, really cool in my debut, so that was kind of the goal. It did start to feel possible to maybe back into a win there at the end with all the gas strategy, the tire strategy. But yeah, I didn't have any confidence on those restarts, if you couldn't tell. I was starting in third gear, and I never felt like the truck was beneath me going into one in any of the restarts. I was just hemorrhaging positions every time and having to get them back throughout the run. So it made it tough. Maybe with a longer run, I could have done something. But nonetheless, super proud of that one. As you know, man, a track I love. So happy to take it home third.
Yeah, I was noticing that you weren't the best on restarts, but it seemed like you had pretty good race pace. I mean, was there something you could tell that Cofield was doing different or run a different line, or was he just that much quicker?
Oh man, he was just better. I mean, whenever I got a chance to stay behind, not let him disappear in my windshield. So for the first, 10, 15 laps of some of those runs, I just tried to duplicate his line the best I could and see if maybe I was missing something that he had found. And it pretty quickly dawned on me that I just was not as fast as him. He was just that much more talented. But hey, that did teach me, I think, a little bit of long run speed. I was having a much easier time diving the corners after I was following his line. He was doing a really, really good job of carrying momentum through the whole corner, and I think I learned a lot from him. I mean, that's always the silver lining in these races, right? Whether or not you get your butt kicked by someone like him, you come out of it a better driver, and I definitely feel that way after that one. Again, I like forcing myself to come to these tracks that I'm not particularly fond of, and see how I can do. So yeah, it was fun to learn from one of the best guys I've shared the track with in a long time, and yeah, it was definitely a long run race for me, which I welcomed at North Wilkesboro. I mean, I thought I was going to be out of control all race, so to be able to get underneath me for the long runs was really nice.
Well, it was definitely fun to watch. Some of the moves you were making, running the bottom, just wrapping the bottom, getting past people. It definitely something we noticed was that bottom was working really well for you to make your passes. If anybody made one slight slip up anywhere on the track, you were getting by on the inside in the next corner.
Yeah, it made passing very doable. I mean, I think passing came very, very hard to a lot of the guys out there today just because of the lines that they were fast in. I saw a lot of guys wrapping that top and they were able to defend really well, but I noticed that not a lot of people had the same confidence that I did, especially through 3 and 4, gassing it up early. So yeah, I was able to take advantage of a lot of slip-ups. A lot of guys would get loose on the entrance of 3. I would just get it down there at the bottom and try to slot car it all the way down, and there was just this little patch of grip down there. I think the banking was a little bit different, and it allowed the truck to feel somewhat confident. I mean, geez, even with pretty good track conditions, you feel like you're on ice the whole time out there. It's such a handful. I'm covered in sweat right now, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it was really cool to find that line. I'm usually a driver who enjoys the top, so to have the bottom working for me was really cool, and definitely I think made passing a lot easier for me than in other guys in the field today who were probably faster than me.
Well, it was definitely a great race to watch. Solid finish from you again, your WRL debut. Go ahead and give any shout outs if you got them.
Yeah, let me give a shout out to my team, DDI Motorsports. Hope to get more of them over here to share the track with me. One of my teammates, you, Jonathan Quesabir, over there. So thank you to MC Motorsports for broadcasting this league. I was watching your guys' pre-race, and I've watched a few races in the past. You do a great job up there. Super cool to hear both of you up there, 2 drivers that I have the privilege of being a broadcaster for in other days. And yeah, I want to shout out the I'll make this one quick since it's another broadcast that I respect very much, but I want to shout out VRN, the sponsor of my car, another broadcasting network where the MRL, DDI Racing League, and the BRL race. So check them out at vortexracingnetwork.com. Check out Daily Drivers Inc., one of my other sponsors, a car events company and apparel company over at dailydriversinc.com. And yeah, shout out to you guys. Shout out to World Ride Racing League, everyone that I got to share the track with today. It was a pleasure and had a great time. And every Tuesday I have available, I'm going to come bother all of y'all.
And we look forward to seeing that number 12 on track. You have yourself a good night, and congratulations on that podium finish.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Yeah.
That was Zach Panzarella, our P3 finisher. Up next, we'll get Nicholas Lamb bringing it home, P2. Nicholas, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, great finish from you today. Another top 3, bringing home second. Solid fight there from you at the end, getting in the mix with Tanner Coster, Zach Panzarella, even Jeffrey Smith was around. As Jonathan Cofield fell back with them old tires, he just kind of had the slightly wrong strategy today. Didn't have it for you guys at the end. Had to put tires on. Didn't get the result he wanted, but you benefited from that, getting a chance to fight for the win. Ended up getting second. Some good playoff points for your total. You're already locked into the playoffs, so just trying to rack up them playoff points for the playoff seeding. From your point of view, how was the race all night? We saw you kind of, outside the top 3, kind of hanging out most of the race. You didn't get involved in too many incidents, and then you capitalized there at the end when it mattered.
I was on a strategy of trying to save tires. I was thinking every 50 laps I was going to go in there and get some tires. It seemed like my right front was down to 89 after that first lap 50 run. So I was just trying to figure out how I could save a little more tires. Save my tires there for the end. The last 20 had to save the last set of tires for the last run then. Me and Jeffrey Smith, I think his last name is, my teammate, 96.
Yep, Jeffrey Smith,
Yeah.
96.
Yep. Me and him were on the same strategy. Figured the last 20 laps probably be the best bet for those tires and try to gain some ground. A lot of the other trucks must have thought the same thing. The track was very loose. We could barely get on the gas. It was hard to make a move anywhere. If you were on the bottom, you're pretty much in line. Hope the other guy slipped up, which was easy because it was loose.
It seemed like you were one of the only trucks who really weren't committed to the top, but ran a lot more than others.
It seemed like the top 1 and 2 was the preferred spot to be. I kind of top to middle there in 1 and 2. It felt like you got a little more banking. You could use it up off the corner a lot easier than you could do in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 was more like a low to middle type of spot where I can kind of clip the right rear of the truck so he couldn't slide up in front of me. I can kind of keep there with him. I only can do that for a couple laps.
Mm.
Yeah, overall,
That's
it was a pretty consistent race from you.
Yes, I love North Wilkesboro. It's one of those tracks. Seem like the back stretch you're going uphill, the front stretch you're going downhill. And turn 1, it's like you got banking there because it's like you're kind of like leaning on it, but there isn't any. It's a unique track, fun to race. I love this place. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I love watching races here and running them.
When I'm running, I've never noticed the uphill and downhill, even though I know it's there. I've never noticed it in the car.
I notice it every time. Yeah, it's a unique track. It gives me goosebumps here. Since NASCAR's raced here, it's one of those tracks where you can run the outside and the bottom and be fast. You don't. It's fun. My teammates were kind of lost coming in here a little bit. I told them kind of want to enter high and exit low. You want to get because
I want to get that drive off.
Yes. So you can get the truck to rotate and come up off the corner. But if you get on it too much, or even put a little too much wheel on it, you're spinning up off the corner.
We saw that a lot tonight.
For sure. It's easy to do here, especially when you get the track temp at 109, and it's like racing on ice almost.
Well, after all the ice racing that occurred, you brought it home P2, adding on to your playoff points, trying to run down Tanner Coster, who, is going to increase the gap a little bit with the win tonight, but nonetheless trying to keep the gap from getting too big and trying to run it down for the regular season championship. So, good race from you. If you've got any shout-outs, let's go ahead and hear them.
I would like to shout out my teammates at Stanley Motorsports. We almost had a top 10 for Stanley. A new guy there, number 16 there, had 11th place finish, so it's a top 11 for Stanley. And the people at Lamb's Motorsports. And if you like to listen to some kind of new music, look up Seed Squad and Muck Sticky. A truck is sponsored by their song together. You Can Change. Go check it out on YouTube, Spotify, all the music platforms.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations again on another great finish, and you go have yourself a great night. We'll see if we talk to you after the race next week.
I hope so.
That was our P2 finisher, Nicholas Lamb, in the 37. And now it's time for our race winner, Tanner Coster. Tanner, Jonathan, and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
I gotcha.
Another win onto your win total. Another chunk of playoff points and regular season points, increasing your lead over the rest of the field. Jonathan Cofield, we keep mentioning him. He was super strong, but he just didn't have the right strategy tonight, and that allowed you to get up in there and duke it out with some of the other guys. You were able to come out on top. You had that excellent restart for the green-white checkered, and just nobody had anything for you after that. You rolled around the track and got the win. Let's get your point of view for the final couple of restarts there leading into the green-white checkered that you ended up winning.
Yeah, it was a tough race. I didn't know how it was gonna go. This track gets hot and it's so slick. I butchered qualifying, so I had to kind of make my way forward there. But I don't know. I was behind Jonathan, and I knew without something happening, I was pretty much gonna run second. I was trying to watch what he was doing and roll the brakes and the gas a little bit different and try to get my line a little bit better, and I could maybe match what he was doing, but I was never gonna go beat him. So 25 to go or whatever it was there, I knew we had it set left, and we'd ran enough laps where it would probably pay off a little bit. If he pitted, I was probably going to stay out and try. If he stayed out, I was going to pit and try. With having a couple of wins, I figured I want to go after some more wins. So then yeah, there at the end, I just wanted a couple laps so I could actually use the tires and get by him. And then he fought hard, and it was still not easy getting by him even with better tires. But got by him, and then kind of wanted it to just run green to the end, and then we got that restart. So that green-white checkered there, I just late in the race I switched from restarting at second gear to going to third gear because you could be a lot more aggressive with the throttle and not spin the tires. So I just got to the restart box and hammered it in third and got enough of a gap where I could just run 2 good clean laps and make it around to the finish.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about your Martinsville win when you did
Yeah.
just about the same thing where you would get great restarts and nobody could catch you and a caution would come out and you just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we noticed, your charge early. I mean, it wasn't, but less than I'd say a tenth of the way through the race, and you were already climbing the field, getting your way towards top 10, top 5. So we knew that you were going to be strong, as you are every week, and you ended up putting that thing in victory lane for it's the third time now, I believe. Solid chunk of points, as always. The most important playoff points for the seeding. It's going to take you up to 27 playoff points, which is an absurd amount for this point in the season. You've been just tearing up that top 3. Getting 3 wins and a couple other 2s and 3s in there. Just so far a mopping of the field as it looks like on the point standings that just keep separating you from everybody else.
Yeah, I'm hoping to just have a good head start on the playoffs. When we get to the playoffs and it kind of resets, I know Jonathan, he's going to be tough either way, but hopefully if I can have a little bit of an advantage and then stay close to him, and maybe some races work out like this where you get some strategy and things work out better. So never know what'll happen later in the year, but we'll keep digging and trying to put a bigger buffer as we go.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another win, and go ahead and give your shout outs.
Yeah, just to the league guys, and everybody puts that on, and you guys for broadcasting, giving everybody something to watch, and all the guys in here. That there's a lot of good racing there at the front. I know we had a fair amount of yellows, and towards the back it a little hairy at times, but Zach and then Jonathan and I think Nicholas and whoever else was up there was a lot of good side-by-side racing where we were all slipping the tires and keeping it pretty clean with each other. So just shout out to everybody that was racing up there. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, you looking forward to Charlotte next week?
I could take it or leave it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just kind of a typical mile and a half.
Well, we definitely have, a high bar for you going forward. I mean, all these wins you're racking up. Anything less than the top 5 is almost going to be not a disappointment, so to speak, but it's just going to be, un-Tanner-like, we'll call it.
Yeah, I definitely come into these knowing bare minimum I should be top 10, but realistically, I feel like I've got top 5, top 3 speed every week, and if I can just figure out how to beat Jonathan, it would be golden.
Before we let you go, are we saying your last name right?
How are you saying it? I haven't been listening, I guess.
Oh, Coster.
Yeah, no, that's spot on.
All right, cool. All right.
Right on.
There you go. Well, congratulations on another win. Go ahead and go celebrate that, and we'll see if we're talking to you at any point next week.
Thank God.
That was the race winner, Tanner Coster.
Who is our bonus guy this week?
Bonus guy this week, I chose Jeffrey Smith. He wasn't our biggest. Our biggest mover was Brandon Alessi. He was up 15 into P6. But the run that Jeffrey Smith put together, the consistency that he put together all night, and then to bring it home in 4th, I definitely wanted to hear from him. So we'll get our Jeffrey Smith up in here. Jeffrey, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, boys, let's go!
You sound extremely excited, and you should be. An amazingly consistent run for you almost all night up there, around the top 5 and 6. Ended up coming home 4th, and we definitely noticed, just able to stay out of most things. You had a couple trucks that almost took you out while you were just driving along, and you were able to squeak by them, and you brought it home P4 for a solid points day. Just go ahead and, you give us all your excitement. Let's hear how you're feeling and just how the race went for you.
Well, boys, it comes down to this. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. No, I'm just kidding. I've been holding on to that one for a couple of weeks. No, honestly, if it wasn't for my guy Nick Lamb, I would have been up Crap Creek right there. He figured it out, a little bit of a strategy there, and we rocked with it, and it worked, and then we managed to dodge a lot of stuff. I got kind of lucky there in the middle. Me and I think it was Mark kind of slid together, and we were able to just pick them back off, and kind of all worked out in the end. But that was crazy. It was a lot of fun, but it was crazy.
Well, it was extremely fun to watch. You kept your truck clean. Did you ever end up having to use that fast repair, or did you stay pretty undamaged?
I didn't actually. The damage that I thought I got in that one mess where everybody was on the top all kind of jumbled up and stuff, and then everything kind of floated to the bottom, I thought for sure I was going to be a little banged up there, and I didn't end up with anything.
Here's a little fun fact. You were the only car in the top 5 with any incident points, with a 5. So it
Yeah,
seemed
and
like
it's crazy because the 4, I don't even remember where the 4, I think the 4 came from that incident there, and then the 1 was
Yeah.
just a I hit the curb.
Yeah, it seemed like if you kept your truck clean, you would have just been up front, which
No,
seemed to
I
do a
didn't.
great
I
job
didn't
of.
have anything. I didn't have anything for Tanner. I don't have anything
Yeah,
for Tanner or Jonathan, either one.
I
I
don't think
knew
anybody else
I
does.
was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna have to race Charles really, really hard right there. I know he's a little upset with me, and I'm okay with that because I did what I had to do to keep my spot. But when you self clear yourself for 25 laps before that, and you expect the last 2 laps to not get raced a little harder, you gotta look in the mirror and think about that for a second.
Got some beef.
Nah, it'll be over. It'll be over. But I'm just that's how it is. Like you can't
Yeah, no, we
self-clear
always remember.
yourself and yeah, you can't self-clear yourself, run a guy to the wall for 25 laps and then get mad when he holds you on the bottom, for 4th place. Come on now.
Well, you're able to hold on there and get that 4th place. Just an overall great night for you. Good points. We'll end up seeing how that shakes up the points, see how far up that jumps you. But if you got any shout outs, let's go ahead and hear them.
Oh, buddy, I do. The whole Racing Cowboy crew shows up every week, usually to watch me. I think little Aspen had a softball game tonight, so I don't know. She'll probably be watching it back. She'll be real excited. My boy John, he started showing up every week. That's pretty cool. He stops what he's doing. He waits a little longer to go to bed so he can keep an eye on it. The whole Stanley Motorsports crew, especially our new guy Austin. I think he's only got a collective like 6 months on iRacing, and he comes in and pulls off an 11th at probably the hardest track that we've been to. So that's pretty big. Like he grew a lot tonight, and
only four
I'm pretty
incident
proud of
points
him.
for him tonight.
Yeah, he did really good at staying out of trouble.
Yeah, we saw that wreck too. He was nowhere near at fault for that. He just, had nowhere to go and ran into it. So, extremely.
Yeah, he just
good
got
race
caught
for
up in
that
the middle of
16.
it. Yeah, I'm really proud of these guys. My wife also, I'm sorry. My wife's watching from Kentucky. She was, and my kids upstairs, like they're staying up past their bedtime. Go to bed, guys. But they're
Race is over.
they're pretty excited about that. Yeah. Good night, guys.
Oh, excellent finish from you. Looking forward to seeing if that momentum carries on next week. Truck looks good as always. I definitely like the look that you got going on there. That green, neon green and black.
Fun fact: that's the same design as my real car. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, looks really good. But yeah, again, congratulations on the solid finish, and we'll see if we're talking to you next week.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it.
That was our P4 finisher, and one of the most impressive. There were a good couple impressive drivers tonight, but one of the top 3 most impressive right there with, we were talking about Austin, Brandon Alessi coming home 6th.
I mean, that whole 4th through 5th. I mean, they did a great job tonight with Jeffrey Smith, Charles Irwin, and Brandon Alessi.
And Kevin Stanley, 7th.
Yeah.
Where did he
coming back
come
through
from?
the field.
He
And
at
I
one
think he was
point
involved in almost every caution.
He was a lap or 2 down at some point, and he charged all the way back up for a 7th place finish.
We say this every week. These guys, they stay in the race. They just keep going. They don't give up.
I think at the end there we only had, I want to say 4 or 5 guys. This might be the race with the most exits at 4 or 5, because normally everybody sticks in it, whether 15 laps down, 3 laps down, they stay in it, because if anybody wrecks out, you're gonna gain a couple spots.
Yeah.
Now we'll run up and get the entire finishing order real quick.
Something, I said this last time we were at a short track. This is nothing like the Martinsville race where it was people getting into each other. This was once again just single car spins. So, I mean, they're running a lot of caution laps, but they're all a lot of single car spins. So, the racecraft is pretty good. It's there. It's just got to clean up the the mistakes on the racing line. More just let the truck do what it's got to do. And I mean, they're racing well. They're racing side by side very well compared to what Martinsville was. So definitely an improvement. I look forward to more short track racing with these guys because I know they got it in them.
Yeah, watching these guys grow from how they raced to start the season, and they're getting better. The caution count doesn't exactly show it, but they're definitely getting better at racing next to each other. They're starting to learn the tendencies. They're starting to learn the trucks and themselves. I know a lot of these guys, I've been told, race together on console on NASCAR Heat 5. So they're just making the transfer to iRacing. This is I think they said it's their first season together. So they're watching us grow as broadcasters, and we're watching them grow as a league, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, we're back at 1.5 miles, and we saw how good their last race was. Where were they? It wasn't Texas, was it? It was
Kansas.
Kansas, yeah. I mean, that place puts on a great show every time. Charlotte can get a little spread out, but Charlotte's usually a really good fuel strategy race, so we'll see what these guys bring next week, and looking forward to it.
Bring up our finishing order here for the race. Tanner Coster puts another win in the win column, beating out Nicholas Lamb and Zach Panzarella. Jeffrey Smith, Charles Irwin round out that top 5. Brandon Alessi, Kevin Stanley Jr., Jonathan Cofield. P8, not the exact finish he was looking for. He was arguably and quite obviously the strongest truck all night. He didn't
I don't think there was an argument there.
He didn't exactly, blow the field out by, 10 seconds, but he was pulling to 2, 3, 4 seconds, which is quite a bit for North Wilkesboro. So he had the strongest truck, but they're slightly wrong strategy. And then Anthony Camarada and Mark Cofield round out that top 10.
And we'll have to get an update on the name for Austin Miato. Make sure that's right. P11, Keith Ayers, Reginald Harris, Jade Feathers, Kyle Lawver, Will Moore 16th. Saw him in a lot of wrecks. He had a good truck, but just couldn't make it through the field. P17, Brennan Resler, 18th, Matt McDonald, 19th, Sleeping Beauty, Javier Zapata 20th, and to round out the field, Ryan O'Toole in 21st.
And yeah, you'll see both me and Michael's names at the end there. The session was made where we couldn't spectate. We had to register kind of as drivers, so it does show us there. We obviously did not race. We were in the booth all night. But, sneak peek, we'll put on the air now. There is looking to be at least one on-track appearance from the both of us at some point during the season, so we'll see how that goes.
Looking forward to it.
Well, that is going to wrap up the broadcast for tonight. Another fun-to-watch race from the Worldwide Racing League as they complete their 10th week of the season. 8 more to go before the playoffs start. We'll see if anyone locks their way in with any more wins or if we just keep seeing some repeaters. But I'm Jonathan Casepear. That's Michael Matta. And this has been MC Motorsports Broadcasting live from North Wilkesboro.